Then we have, I told you at the beginning of the video, this fight is going to be an amazing, amazing fight. Steve Jones, 8 wins and 1 loss. Nikolay Veretennikov, 7 wins and 3 losses. This fight is a welterweight fight. Steve Jones, 8 wins, 1 loss. Nikolay Veretennikov, you might be thinking he's from Kazakhstan. He might have some pretty good wrestling, some pretty good grappling, submission skills. That is not really the case. I mean, he has a pretty good background in wrestling and grappling. But just look right here. 6 knockout wins? Bro, that's insane. 6 knockout wins and 1 decision wins. His loss is pretty spread out. 1 knockout loss, 1 submission loss, and 1 decision loss. All at the beginning of his career, back in 2014. But that was at the beginning of his career. He came back 2 years later, and he looked like an absolute beast. Second round knockout, first round knockout, decision win, third round knockout, and first round TKO inside of the LFA. And then a knockout win over Austin Jones. I mean, god dang, this man's an absolute beast. Then we have Steve Jones, who's also a very, very good striker. His only loss coming inside of the LFA. Sorry, I had a burp for some reason. But he has 4 knockout wins, 4 decision wins. His losses, his only 1 loss coming by knockout. Has a couple of amateur fights. Didn't do too good as an amateur. 7 wins and 3 losses. But in this fight, I expected to stay on the feet. And, I mean, Nikolay Veretennikov, I expect him to at least get a knockout in the fight. Maybe even get a knockout in the fight. He has a humongous height advantage. I assume he has the reach advantage in the fight. So, I'm probably going to be going with Veretennikov to get a TKO in the fight. But, I mean, Steve Jones, he has a pretty good chin, also has some pretty good striking himself. He could get a knockout himself. But I think this one, no matter what, is going to end by knockout. Veretennikov has just an amazing right hand. Since 2014, after he came back 2 years later, has looked like a completely changed MMA fighter, and has looked really, really good. So I'm definitely going with Nikolay Veretennikov to win this fight in the welterweight fight. Probably by TKO in the second, but if he does not get that TKO in the first or second round, I'm going to say he's going to win the fight by 30-27, unanimous decision. The betting odds for that fight are pretty close. Let's see if I can find it. -150 and then +120, so a pretty close fight there for that welterweight fight.